This is Cyberlog, world news in anime.
All right, you have got to hear this. A brand new show drops a trailer, and in just 7 days, it does something completely wild. It hits a power level of over 223 million views. We're talking about shattering every single record for its platform. So how in the world did they pull that off? Just look at that number, 223 million. Seriously, before we even get into what it means, just let that sink in for a second. That's how many people in 1 week decided, yep, I need to see this. This isn't just a big number, it's the start of a whole cultural moment. Okay, now for some perspective, because this is where it gets insane. You see those other bars? Those are Prime Video's heavy hitters. Rings of Power, The Summer I Turned Pretty, these were huge successes. And Young Sherlock, it didn't just beat him, it absolutely left him in the dust. This wasn't a competition, this was a total takeover. And here's the real kicker. This wasn't some long-awaited sequel. It wasn't the return of a show that fans have been begging for. Nope, this was for a brand new series. A total unknown that just walked into the ring and boom, instantly became the main event. That right there makes this whole thing about 10 times crazier. Look, numbers like this don't just happen by magic, right? This is the result of a perfectly calculated master-level plan. So, what was it? What was the secret technique, the power move that made the entire internet just collectively lose its mind? Well, it really boils down to this incredibly powerful 3-hit combo. 3 separate, super effective elements that when you put them all together, you get a phenomenon that nobody saw coming. So, let's break down this attack. So, the combo is basically built on 3 pillars. First, you've got the director, a name that's basically a promise of quality. Then you've got the premise, which is just this brilliant hook. And finally, the star, who brings a massive built-in audience right from the get-go. Let's start with that first hit. Power move number 1 is all about one name, Guy Ritchie. And just having him as the director, well, that's a huge statement about what this show is going to be. You remember those Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies, right? The awesome ones? That was him. This is the guy who took a classic detective and turned him into a full-blown modern action hero. And made over $1 billion doing it. So when you see Guy Ritchie and Sherlock Holmes in the same sentence, you know exactly what you're in for. Style, smarts, and a ton of action. It's instant credibility. All right, on to the second hit of the combo, and you could argue this one is the most important of all, the premise. See, this isn't just another Sherlock story. Oh no, this is the one we have never ever seen before. Here's the brilliant twist. We all know Sherlock Holmes. We all know his greatest enemy, Moriarty. But what if they didn't start out that way? What if, when they were just kids, they were actually friends? That one little question, it changes absolutely everything. And that's where the magic is. It's a built-in tragedy. You go in knowing their friendship is doomed. You know they're destined to become the worst of enemies. But you can't help it. You just have to see how it all falls apart. We're not just watching a mystery, we're watching the birth of the greatest rivalry ever. It's pure storytelling dynamite. And for the final hit, the finishing move of this combo, that would be the casting of the lead actor himself. A choice that brought in a literal army of fans before a single frame was even shot. Hero Fiennes Tiffin. Now, if you've ever heard of the aftermovies, you know this guy has a massive, and I mean fiercely loyal global fan base. So casting him as Sherlock wasn't just about finding the right actor, it was like flipping a switch on a built-in marketing machine. Millions of his fans were hyped and ready to go to war for this show from day one. So, you've got this perfect combo. But how does all of this work for a character that's literally been around for over 100 years? How do you make a 139-year-old detective feel like the freshest, most exciting new thing on streaming? I mean, think about it. Since 1887, Sherlock has been reinvented over and over again. He's been an action star, a modern-day genius. The character has seen it all. And the fact that people are this excited for this new version just proves one thing. It's not the character people are tired of, it's the lack of new ideas. And this show, well, it brings a very new idea. And that's really the secret sauce, isn't it? People will always show up for a character they love, no matter how old, as long as you give them a new, exciting reason to. Young Sherlock promised a fresh angle from its very first second, and, well, the audience answered loud and clear. But with all that power comes a huge new challenge. The show's own record-breaking success has basically created a final boss for it to defeat, the crushing weight of all this hype.
Yeah, this level of hype is a total double-edged sword. On one hand, you've got incredible power, a massive built-in audience from day one. But on the other hand, the pressure is immense. When expectations are this sky-high, if you don't deliver, the backlash can be just as huge as the hype. And we don't have to wait forever to find out how this story ends. The entire 8-episode season is going to drop on March 4th, 2026. You can bet the entire world is going to be watching to see if this show can actually stick the landing.
So, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? Did we all just witness the brilliant marketing for a future masterpiece? Or is this a case of incredible hype for a show that just can't possibly live up to it? The game, as they say, is afoot.